Hey y'all, come on in, say hello, and welcome to the Executive Innovation Show. I was a little delayed due to technology, but we are here now. Come on in, say hello. And before I get started, so I had a founder that reached out to me at one point, and this founder came to me after trying multiple times to tap into the federal space, especially in the innovation space for SBIR, which stands for Small Business Innovation Research. Okay. And let me know if you can hear me as well too as you all come in. And this person, this founder already had the technology, already was serving, clients in a commercial space. This person had six team members. So they had real business going on. They had a lot of things that they had to focus on, deliver on, and they didn't have the time or capacity to tap into cyber, but they were aware of what cyber was and what it could do for their businesses. Not all of it, because just from having conversation with the person, I was able to enlighten the person on additional resources that they were available if they did pursue this opportunity. And this person also hired grant writers to figure out, find opportunities for them. And from what the person shared out of that individual's mouth, they said nobody had gotten them to a place or through the door for those opportunities until they worked with your girl. Okay, so come on in, and welcome to the Executive Innovation Show. I'm your host, Chevy, and as your federal execution partner, I help tech founders like yourself, established tech founders like yourself, to submit their first phase one merit-worthy proposal without losing focus on their business, okay, on their businesses. So we're talking about a real client story and experience from where they were to what they were able to receive from me. And also I'm going to talk to you all or share with you all about my process of what I did to support this client to submit their first SBIR phase one proposal, multiple phase one proposals. So come on in. And if you're in the same boat thinking like that's where you're at, then you are in the right place today. Okay. So we have Rochelle, the Slay Queen. Happy Wednesday. Love it, love it, love it. And please drop in the comments what you do, because I do like to share, because part of my process is looking at how we can also bring in strategic partnership to help you submit a quality merit-worthy proposal that is much stronger. So today I'm breaking down exactly what I was able to do to help that client to submit their first multiple SBIR phase one proposal within 30 days, because it was a 6 months opportunity. We have Chanela here. Happy Wednesday, tuning in from New Jersey. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you. And we have Samantha. Good day from New Jersey. Yes. Please drop in the comments what you all do. And today we're talking about moving from stuck to finally being finally submitting your first phase one application. Because what I'm going to share, I think, is definitely going to help a lot of founders who are feeling stuck right now, because it is a lot of information, is a lot of data that you have to go through. And sometimes you may not be aware of the process or which agency to pursue or what topic, what you're looking for. But you have an innovation, you have something that has a solution for someone, but you don't know where to start. So before I get into, all the things, like I said, drop in the chat. And as a founder, I want to share where this person was before we worked together and what they had in their businesses. One, the person has been in business for, at the time, 8 years. That means that person wasn't new to the market. This person has been grinding. This person was building a consistent business, but also they were looking to build a sustainable business, because guess what? They're 8 years in and they were serving clients. They had a 6-person team to support them, because again, as a tech founder, you are delivering, you got family life, you got the team, you got clients that you got to deliver on, but also run the business. Like I said, existing contract, they were building an AI and machine learning software to track carbon and emission, again, in real time, because they had an innovative idea and they knew that, hey, they are billions of dollars available for me to tap into, but I don't know where to start. So let me see who can help me in this process. Also, they had a real technology, because part of the innovation process is making sure that you have a real idea that you feel can get to the market. And also you already have something that is probably tangible that you can show and say, here's what we've already started to build. And we know that this can provide a solution to whatever agency that you are in aligned with. Okay. But the thing about this client that I served, and I had a pleasure serving this client, was that this person did not have any more bandwidth to go after federal opportunities, go after SBIR, because SBIR will take a lot of your time. And if you're doing this on your own and trying to run your business and trying to lead your team and deliverables to your clients, because you're more likely have multiple clients, you don't have the bandwidth, plus family life, plus your time. This person did not have any more bandwidth to navigate the federal process, but I do. Okay. This client was not a startup. This client, like I said, was already in business for, over 8 years at the time. And that matters for SBIR. They want to see that, hey, small business, you are building something, you're building something great, and you are here for the long haul. You are here for sustainability. You're here to bring them a solution that they don't have, bring them a solution to something that they are dealing with right now. And you can actually deliver on that. That is key. Okay. So definitely, as you are thinking about SBIR, and this may be your first time hearing about SBIR, which is a Small Business Innovation Research, and as a minority business owner, I want you to be fully aware of your opportunities, the information that are out there, but also how you can get the right support to make sure that you submit a quality, merit-worthy proposal. So very quickly, we have Rochelle. She said, I help accomplished women go from qualified to recognized. Oh, I like that. So they become the obvious choice for leadership opportunities, speaking engagements, media features, and career advancement. Love that. So reach out to her if you are looking for, as a woman who is looking to receive all of this in her next chapter or current chapter. Okay, love that. Thank you for sharing that. So I share with you where this person was at, what they were doing in their businesses. And, the client, though, was also facing, let me get my notes. Like I said, they looked into SBIR. And what I've realized, not just only with this client, but other clients and even people, founders I've had conversations with who were looking to hire me at the time. And, some did not because, maybe financially they weren't ready or they just were scared, whatever the case may be. They knew that these funds are available. Okay. And when I said this is $4 billion, and for the next 5 years, you will have $4 billion available to you if you choose to apply. The thing is choosing to really move forward, because again, we're talking about going from stuck to finally submitting your first SBIR Phase 1. Okay. And this person, as I stated, they tried to move forward, but again, hiring other people, they didn't have the time, and the individuals they hired from what they shared, not what they shared, was not able to deliver at all. Because again, this person was running a business, finances, making sure they have capital, making sure that, looking at partnership, all the things. So they didn't have the time to pursue. So that's when I was able to meet with the person, share with the person what I do as a strategic partner, someone who goes out and help them to submit their first, not help them, but guide them or do it for them to submit their first SBIR Phase 1 proposal. And you are probably at the same juncture right now where you're like, okay, I know there's opportunities. I know I want to do this, but where do I start? Where do I begin? Because same thing with this specific, client. They're like, where do I start? Where do I begin? I know it exists, but where do I go, Chevy? Okay, drop in the chat and say, go. Where do I go? We have Chanel. She said, yes, this is great information. And I always say delegation is your business self-care, because you were putting your business in position where people can operate in your absence and when you are lacking. Exactly. That was something that this person decided to say, hey, let me go ahead and delegate this, because one, I don't have hours to give to this process. And I'm telling you, you are looking at hours. And if you're trying to focus on your business and your continued growth without missing the beat, then it is important to look at who can you bring in as a consultant who understand the landscape, who understand what they're doing, who has also submitted multiple phase 1 SBIR proposal for other individuals. So you might be at the point where you know this exists, but you don't know where to start. Okay. And I've had multiple conversations with founders who are at the beginning stage of, hey, I know this exists. This is my innovation, but where do I go from there? What agency do I look at? What is the process? That is something that's the gap. Samantha said, go, let's go. Exactly. Thank you for dropping that. Also, you tried before, maybe you've already submitted phase 1 proposal. And I've had conversations with established founders who has submitted and, the proposal did not go through, or they got feedback, which is great. And we'll talk about, what my client was able to gain with my services. So you have a lot going on. So I'm going to say this, just like the client that I've served, they had so much going on that they needed someone that they felt comfortable and they can trust to help them get to that next level, which was to help them to identify opportunities and submit their first phase 1 proposal. Okay. And if everything that I've shared so far resonated with you as a founder who is looking to tap into that space, I want you to keep listening to this. Okay, because I'm going to share with you exactly what I did. And these are things that you can apply on your own and go out and do it. But I know right now you don't have the time because you are ready to move forward. You're ready to also continue to serve the people that you're serving currently, and more people are going to be coming to you for your services. Rochelle said, let's go. Let's go. Yes, thank you for that. So what was the process? So it was a true step process. And with my background being military and having the opportunity to serve 22 years in the Air Force and leveraging my skill set of running operations, running readiness, the structure, the execution, the strategies, the research, the optimization of processes, like I was able to use all of those skill set and tools that I was able to gain while on active duty into what I do now. And, this is something that Rochelle was talking about on her show yesterday about using your skill set to create the opportunities and the things that you're doing to serve your clients. So I was able to do that. And the first thing that I did after the client, decided, to say, yes, I want to hire you, Chevy, to help me pursue these SBIR opportunities and also partnership opportunities. So the first thing that we did was I really sat down with this person to have a 60-minute conversation, because I know you don't have a lot of time as an established founder. So I'm not looking to optimize and use your time because you have limited time already. So my goal is to give you back your time, but I want to make sure that I understand the vision, the mission, and where you're looking to go and what you're looking for. So having that 60-minute session where I get to hear what you are building, I get to ask follow-up questions so that I can have understanding and clarity. And also you get to hear how I go about making sure that here are the deliverables that you will receive at the end. So having that 60 minutes conversation to connect, to learn, but also to have the vision so that I can go out and make sure that I am bringing the right information and resources back to my client at the time. Okay, so that is the first step. Okay, and I'm giving you the step by step because I want you to understand this is not just hiring Chevy and say, hey, go do this. There's a process, because my goal is to make sure that you are able to submit a merit-worthy proposal. That is the ultimate goal, okay? Let me get some water. All right. So the second thing that I did was the research. When it comes to SBIR, you have to do research. You have to identify, based on what the client shared, okay, I knew, let me go do the research based on the specific agency and making sure that those agency aligned with what the client was looking to build and submit their SBIR innovation for. Okay, because that meant I need to do research, which is time consuming, which again, as a founder, you don't have time unless you have someone on your team who can do this for you. Great. But more than likely, that team member is already at capacity. And that's why clients bring me in. Okay. So, and the reason I'm doing the research is because this is a very important part to get through the door, because you want to make sure that the topics that you are submitted for actually aligns with your innovation. You have to make sure it aligns with the innovation that you're looking to submit on. Because the biggest thing, you don't want to get rejected at the door. My goal is to help you go through the door, go through the SBIR door, so that first phase one is actually going to get reviewed by reviewers. Okay. We have Rochelle. She said, absolutely 100%. We don't start from scratch. We use our tried and tested lived experiences to create opportunities, influence, and impact. Exactly, Queen. Exactly. So that was the second thing. So the third thing that I did for my client was to, part of the process, and something that we all do, we would register for something, then we forget about it. Well, part of the process, I was able to monitor these specific data system, that my client had to be registered in. So SAM.gov, the person was already registered, but also we had to look at the registration expired. And in that moment, while I was serving my client, yes, that registration was going to be expired before the submission deadline. And this is very important and critical to you as a founder. If you are submitting, make sure that your SAM.gov registration is updated and it goes past the submission. Like, it needs to be good for the whole frame of that. Because if you do get awarded, because if you try to submit your application for that phase one and your SAM.gov is expired, you don't waste time and money. Okay. But part of my process is making sure that the things that are required for my client to make sure that they have in place, I make sure that is good to go. And also making sure, guess what? Registering them in grants.gov, registering them in the database per that specific agency, whether that's Department of Energy or Department of War, because this was a full done for you experience. So that client was able to really focus on supporting their clients fully and just feed me what I needed from them to make sure that I was able to submit a merit-worthy proposal that got through the door. Also, the next thing that I had to do that I did was handle the require, like I said, federal registration, because SBA registration is needed, grants.gov, and any other additional registration that you may need as well, so that they can continue to focus on the growth of their businesses, their team, and serving their clients, because that is the ultimate goal. You don't want to keep putting hours and hours into this when you have to spend all this hours in your business already. And that's where I come in. Another thing that I had to, I don't want to say had to, but I supported my clients with was really drafting the letter of support. Like, you need letter of support. You need letter of commitments as well, because they want to see who all do you have in your team who are committed to this process. What support do you have from other companies or businesses that can help you get to the end goal? Because the goal is to get your innovation not only through the door, but to phase one, phase two, and then phase three, which is the commercialization aspect. So they want to see what does your ecosystem look like as someone who's looking to build this thing and get funds from the government. Okay. And then the biggest part of this is the technical narrative. This is where you are selling your innovation based on the criteria of what that agency is looking for. You're going to make sure that it hits all the key points. And that means you don't go over the pages. If they're telling you, hey, this part is just 10 pages, this part is 5, guess what? Keep it at that amount, okay? Because that will automatically reject your proposal. Automatically. It would not even get to the reviewers. So our goal is to get you through the door. Another big factor that I was able to deliver for my client, and they didn't have to focus on the numbers and all the things, was the budget, the direct, indirect costs, making sure that the pay per team member was in alignment with the federal pay, not the federal, but the pay scale. Like, really making sure, are we overpaying this person? Like, making sure that it was realistic, because they're going to look and see at your budget, and did you took the time to make sure that your budget covered what you truly needed in the sense of the manpower, the resources, the equipment, anything that you felt, the consultant to support you in that process. They want to see, were you able to legit, because this is not about fraud. This is about being legit. Okay. But I was able to provide that level of support to my client. And all they had to do was review and verify and solidify. And then we were good to go, because I made sure whatever the amount was for that agency, whether it was $250K, I made sure that the amount of what everything would cost did not exceed that amount. Because we can have it on paper, but when you go into the system, I'm going to have to tweak some numbers, because the system calculation is off sometimes. So you have to figure it out. Okay. I have what Rochelle is saying. She said, what a great service you provide. Save time, effort, energy, and money. Yes, ma'am. They're going to save time, effort, energy, and money. Okay. Because the goal is to get them through the door, which I have done multiple times. All right. So another key component that I add and support my clients with during this process was to identify potential strategic partnership. My goal during this is really identifying where, again, I'm going outreach, researching, identifying strategic partnership that could be in alignment with this person, not only for SBIR opportunities, but also for long-term opportunities. And what that looks like is really doing the identification, researching, and connecting and facilitating that conversation between my client and that potential strategic partner. And then they do what they have to do. So that is something that, again, they don't have time for. They don't have energy to go out and identify these core partnerships, but my company does. And the final thing that we do is submit that merit-worthy proposal into the different database, whether it's Department of Energy and Department of War. And with my support, my client did not have to do none of the heavy lifting at all. They stayed focused on their business. And that is what I'm here to support more tech founders who are looking to pursue SBIR opportunities, is to give you that space and time to focus on growing your business while you have my company helping you to navigate the SBIR process and to get to the point where you submit your first phase 1 SBIR proposal. Okay. So what was the outcome of myself and this client working together? This client was able to submit their very first ever 2 SBIR phase 1 proposal, one to the Department of Energy and one to the Department of War. And we did, multiples, like other LOIs, different agencies and so forth. They were able to get 3 reviewers' feedback on their proposal. Okay. And because of that feedback, now they are telling this client exactly what they need to do to sharpen and make sure that the next opportunity that they submit is at a greater advantage for SBIR award. With that being said, I'm a very transparent person. The client was not awarded the contract. Well, not the contract, the SBIR phase 1. Because one thing about the government space, no contract, no award is guaranteed. This is a risk. You're taking a risk and you're trusting the person that you hire to submit a quality package for you, because they are competing packages that are being submitted, because you're not the only one going after the same opportunity. There might be 20, 30, 40 people or more, or 100 going after the same opportunity. So the fact that this client was able to get feedback and got their proposal through the door, because I don't guarantee the award because I am not sitting in the seats. I'm not the one selecting, which I've shared before, but I do guarantee that you will submit a quality merit proposal, because that is the number one thing that you have to do before you can even get through the door to get any review, any feedback or anything, or even get awarded. They have to make sure that you are even able to get through that SBIR door so that they can look at your package. So that is what I guarantee. Okay. I get you in the room. Okay. That is what I do. And that means a complete merit-worthy proposal through the door, because getting through the door is essential. That tells you your package is of quality, that they are considering your phase one package. Okay. And the more feedback that you get, it makes your submission stronger and stronger if you choose to continue on. Because again, some people may stop. Some people are like, hey, I'm going to go until I get that opportunity. And you will. You will. And with the service that I delivered to my client, not only this one, but other client, but I want to share exactly what this client shared in their testimony after working with me. And I'm going to read it so you can understand. And if you guys are feeling what I'm sharing, type in SBIR in the chat. Okay. Because again, I want to see more tech founders, and especially women. If you are in this space and you have an innovative idea, like I want to make sure that you, I'm all for all people, but I want, if you are, because it's a little harder for women to get opportunities. Let's be real. Okay. So if you are a woman in the tech space and you like, hey, I want to see what this is all about, reach out to me, because money is available that you do not have to pay back, because the big companies are leveraging the small companies to go after these opportunities. And I want to make sure that you as a small business is getting a piece of the pie. Okay. So drop ready. All right. So here's what the client said after working together. The client said her professionalism is unmatched. I've worked with other grant writer before, but none of them ever completed a grant for me. None of them ever completed a grant for me. Chevy was the first to take it from start to finish. No one has done that. No one has gone as far as she has to help me. You are worth every penny. I like that end part. You are worth every penny. Okay. Because I am. Because I'm telling you, I'm not telling you, the client is telling you. Okay. Because what you're getting is not someone who's just like throw something together. Like, we do the work. We care about what you're building. We care about your vision. We care about your execution. We want to make sure that you are focused on the business, and we're going to focus on this. And you can trust us to deliver on that. As I just read from my client, they hired other grant writer before strategic, but I'm not just a grant writer. That's a difference. I'm your federal execution partner. I'm your strategic person that we look at the whole package. This is not just writing a proposal. We look at how do we make sure that you are positioned and submit a quality SBIR Phase 1 proposal. We got SBIR from Rochelle. Thank you for that. And ready from Samantha. Yes, like we are ready for SBIR opportunities, and I want to help you get through the door. Okay. So what does this mean to you as a founder? Because what I've shared, this is where you're looking to get. You're looking to get through the door. And as I stated before, I've had conversations with, a founder. This was last year. And they were, sharing how, they were working with another, some individuals. They were a consultant, and the founders submitted a phase 1, but they never heard anything. And I had to let that person know, more than likely they haven't heard anything because that package was not even accepted. Something was missing from that package. But we do our due diligence over here at J3M Consultant to make sure that everything that is required and of quality is needed and ready before we even hit submit. And before because before we submit, the founder reviews, validates, certify, and then we submit on behalf of the founder. So if you're a tech founder and you are sitting on SBIR and you've been thinking about it, you're wondering if your technology fits into the, what's going on, and you are wondering, okay, how do I even start Chevy? Like, where do I go? What do I do? Like, there's so much information. Then this is what I want you to know. Seriously, I want you to know that in order to get that clarity, you need to have a conversation with me. Okay. And what that looks like is really getting clear on where you're going. Because I don't want you to try to figure this thing out all by yourself, because you're already wasting time. You're already spending a lot of time trying to figure out what you need to do. But the first step is knowing whether you're ready. That is the key. Like, you have to know if you're truly ready to submit and apply for your first phase 1. And because you got to focus. Like, you have to make a decision, am I ready? Because SBIR is a process. It is time consuming. Okay. And what I want you to know, there's a process that I have in place, which is my SBIR Phase 1 readiness assessment. Like, I love readiness because I've lived readiness in the military. Okay. And this SBIR Phase 1 readiness assessment is for the founder who is truly like, I'm stuck. Where do I start? And this is just a 2-week experience. So 2 weeks together, you and I will flush out, and you would walk away with knowing which agency that you are going to tap into. Okay. You're going to know the top 2 to 3 agencies that you can tap into for your innovation. Okay. And you're going to be able to have a process of what you need to do to be ready to submit, because you got to be ready to submit your first phase 1. Like, you will have the next step to do what you need to do. So it's not about you spending more time diving and doing research. It's truly about time that you say, hey, I've spent a lot of time already the last 6 months. Now let me leverage this 2 weeks with Chevy. And we're not sitting on a call for 2 weeks. No, that's not. I am doing the research for you and helping you to identify. And we'll have a 90-minute session so I can understand the vision, where you're looking, where you're trying to go. And then I go and provide that full, here's a picture, like on a plate, here you go. So if this is something that you are truly interested in, and you know that you are tired of doing the heavy lifting, the mental, fatigue that you're dealing with right now, and you know that you don't have the time and capacity to go and do the research, and you can have someone like myself to really help you to cut that time in half, then I want you to reach out to me and send me the word ready, because I want to share with you how, 1, I want to hear from you, and 2, I want to share with you how my SBIR Phase 1 readiness assessment can help you start getting that momentum and have that next step that you can start to implement to apply for your first Phase 1 proposal. If this resonated with you, then definitely reach out to me. #replay. I want to thank Rochelle for being here, Samantha for being here, Chanel for being here. And if you know of a tech founder who is innovative, who has an amazing idea, who have an innovation, but they are just like kind of stuck and they are still in that rabbit hole of just research, I want you to share this video, this live with them, but also I want you to connect me to that person, because the SBIR Phase 1 readiness assessment may be something that they need to start taking action and actually implementing. Okay. I want to thank you all for joining me on the Executive Innovation Show. And today I just wanted to share that what it's like to work with me as a client, because we truly move from stuck to submitting, because we're about execution over here, but quality execution. I will be here next Wednesday live every Wednesday at 11 AM Central. And next week, I'll be talking about the number one reason SBIR Phase 1 get rejected. We're going to go a little bit more deeper into that next Wednesday. But I want to thank you all for joining me on the Executive Innovation Show. I appreciate you all. And if you are in the market and looking for someone to help you to submit your first SBIR Phase 1, reach out to me as your federal execution partner, retired Air Force veteran, author, business development consultant. I'm here to help you get to that next level. Have an amazing Wednesday as always. And if you're ready, DM me the word ready. Oh, thank you, Rochelle. Great show. Thank you so much, Queen. I definitely appreciate it. Y'all have an amazing Wednesday.